wage theft is a massive problem in this country, but you wouldn't know it from listening to mainstream media. You're supposed to be terrified that there are shoplifters at the local Walgreens, but there is wage theft. We love to highlight bosses behaving badly on this show because oftentimes, on local news, if you tune in, think about how much of local news is mugshots and arrest reports, and often poor people, maybe innocent, maybe guilty, maybe it doesn't matter. They're going through a bad period in their life. They've been arrested, and that's what we highlight on local news, right? But how rare is it to get the counterbalance to that, where not just working people are shamed or spotlighted for their mistakes, but what about when bosses act bad? How about a little bit of accountability there? So we do like to highlight bosses behaving badly, and I wanted to highlight this report out of Florida. The U.S. Department of Labor recovered more than $114,000 in back wages and damages for 100 employees who were denied overtime by an Orlando-based hotel staffing agency. Investigators with the department's Wage and Hour Division found that a Florida hotel staffing company failed to combine hours worked by 100 employees at several locations, paying them straight-time rates for all hours worked, including overtime hours. By doing so, the employer failed to pay the required time-and-a-half overtime premium for hours over 40 hours in a work week, which is a Fair Labor Standards Act violation. So in back wages and liquidated damages, they got $57,177 in back overtime wages and $57,177 in liquidated damages. And we do have a quote here from the Wage and Hour Division District Director. The hard work done by hospitality industry workers allows guests to enjoy their accommodations. Often they work long hours and deserve to be paid all their legally earned wages, including overtime. When employees work at more than one location, their employers must combine hours worked at all locations to calculate overtime wages properly. The Wage Hour Division is committed to safeguarding workers' rights to get paid their rightfully earned wages.
And y'all can correct me, it's not a criminal offense to steal wages, is
Correct.
it? It's all, yeah,
Correct.
so here you might have more insight on that.
So you are breaking the law when you do that, but there are not criminal penalties for wage theft, unfortunately. I mean, sometimes you could get into RICO cases or because inevitably if an employer is stealing wages, they're almost always doing other shady financial things.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Committing wire fraud, for example, or bouncing checks intentionally.
Right.
There's almost always other bad behavior attached, but wage theft by itself is not actually a crime. Even though wage theft completely outstrips all other forms of property theft, which are criminalized.
Right, absolutely. And that's exactly what I was going to say, that, wage theft is a massive problem in this country, but you wouldn't know it from listening to mainstream media who wants to scare you about crime waves. They want to scare you about shoplifting at Walgreens. And you're supposed to be terrified that there are shoplifters at the local Walgreens. But there is wage theft.
And there's
outranking
nowhere
it.
to report that. There's nobody to help you with that. You just have to be brave enough to ask the questions and push for your rights.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if you're in that situation where you believe you're being denied overtime pay or you're experiencing wage theft, absolutely document. Gather as much evidence as you possibly can. Find anything you can in writing that supports your case. Send
Always
emails.
keep copies of your pay stubs.
Keep copies of your pay stubs. Absolutely. Email can be very helpful in building a paper trail. And, once you feel like you have a pretty good bit of evidence to back you up, you should talk to the Wage and Hour Division of the Department of Labor. And I know that's a scary thing, and it's a risky thing in an at-will employment state such as Alabama. But you absolutely should be paid what you're supposed to be paid. And it's just egregious that so many employers out there commit wage theft and get away with it. So I did want to make sure we mention that the Fair Labor Standards Act requires that most employees in the U.S. be paid at least the federal minimum wage for all hours worked and overtime pay at not less than time and one half the regular rate of pay for all hours worked over 40 in a work week. So you can go to the Wage and Hour Division and find more information about this. Again, whether you're an employee or an employer, they try to make it easy for you as an employer to not break the law. Mm-hmm. They even have an app. They have a new timesheet app for Android devices. Now, I can't tell you exactly what that app does, but hey, I'm glad the Department of Labor has an app. I'm glad they're doing that because the more we can educate people about their rights and how to exercise their rights and protect their rights, I think the better we all are.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.